Folks, welcome to Nino's Corner.tv. I'm joined again with Stewart Swerdlow. Wow, I mean, last few videos have hit home runs, lots of stuff. I mean, one thing specifically that stands out in my mind that you've been right about in this short period of time is the government shutdown. You said exactly when it would open, and it did. And nobody was saying that. Not Fox, not CNN. Nobody was calling that. You called it with precision. You said by November 14th it would be open, and I think it was open the 12th or the 13th. So you nailed it a week or two, a week and a half before. So that's why my ears are perked up and I'm listening to you. So there's so much here. I mean, you've given some dates on Nino's Corner.tv that my audience, if you want to go there and listen to this, they're epic podcasts. But Stuart, where do we go from here? I mean, you get debriefed, and folks, if you don't know Stewart Swerdlow, he has a very extensive resume. He has a bloodline pedigree, as I like to call it, of his great uncle was the first Soviet Union president. Cousin created the KGB, and you are a Montauk survivor. So all those things together, to me, gives you a lot of credibility. So, Stuart, thank you so much for joining me once again.
Thank you, Nino. I appreciate all of that. Again, my pedigree, the kennel said I had the best pedigree, but nobody wanted to adopt me. I don't know why, but and again, the precision, it's because I speak to the people who make the decisions. I speak to the people who make the plan. It's not my predictions, believe me, I predict better things. But
So in other words, you get debriefed by who? Who are these people that you get debriefed by?
okay, I can only tell you that these people are working in the Trump team. They're connected to the highest levels of government, both on American and Russian side. And they give me the information that they want to give to the public, but they can't.
Okay,
Be
so that's what I was going to ask you. Why are they giving it to you? Why don't they
yeah,
just go to Fox News and say, "Here you go. Here's the story."
yeah, because they cannot publicly say these things officially from the government level. So they are using me. I don't like to say the word using, but that's kind of what it is like because of my background
But why?
to because I have this connection between both governments of the Russian and the American side.
But I guess my question is, why do they want to put this stuff out there ahead of be ahead of the ball, even if it's just a little bit, especially to a very niche crowd like mine? Why put it out there? Why? I mean, it's just giving little nuggets to very, in the grand, spectrum of things. It's a small crowd. I mean, a few hundred people, a few hundred thousand might watch this. But, so why?
Basically, if they were to announce this publicly and officially from the government level, look what happens to Trump when he says anything. He's attacked, he's trashed, they twist it around. But if we go through this route, through this, I don't want to call it so private, but it's kind of semi-public route, then it filters out to those who would understand and know, so that when the information hits, it's not a shock, so to
Got you.
speak.
That makes sense to me. Yeah, I just wanted to clarify that because that's kind of how I understand it. At least that's what resonates with me. That's what I feel
Yeah.
like they're doing here. Kind
Yeah,
of almost like the hundredth money a monkey syndrome type thing. Like, right?
it's part of a dissemination program
Okay.
where they what they call it planting seeds, and they also call it creeping, where you put something, it gets bigger and bigger and goes out and out. By the time it's officially done, everybody is aware of it. Not a shock.
Got
So
you.
it's
Okay, so
like that.
yeah, so it's not such a shock. That makes sense to me. So where do you want to start with this? There's a lot of information
A
you want to
lot.
bring my audience. So
Yeah, I have 9 typed pages, which was like
wow.
20 handwritten. That was effort. The debriefings are getting more frequent and more intense and longer. Um, and sometimes it makes me, I have to like sit for a couple of hours to let it sink in to get it in my head. So with your permission, I'll just go in the order in which I have it.
However you want to
Okay.
do it. Yeah.
It may not be, in complete sequence, but I'll get it. So the first thing they talk about is China, because China is a bigger threat than people realize. And China is making very big strides in quantum, as all countries are trying to do. And they said China is good at mimicking the American innovations, but they're not good at making their own innovations. And so the US can beat China at implementation of technology, but China can beat the US in innovation. And the recent Chinese bridge collapse in China is an example of how they implement it too quickly and it doesn't work. So they're very good at copying things, but
Mm,
not maintaining them. So that's one thing that
yeah.
it's actually in our benefit that
Right,
it's
right.
like
They
that.
don't build anything to last.
Because remember, I think I mentioned on one of the shows that in 1949, the communist Chinese, when they took over, said they have a 100-year plan of global domination, which completes in 2049, which is only 24 years away.
Jeez.
So they're now using the chaos on the earth to do what they need to do quickly before they lose that momentum.
Got you. Okay.
So that's why they're moving on Taiwan and Philippines and so on. Um, they also said to me, because I asked about, because this people are based in Cape Canaveral, some of that I speak to. Um, and he mentioned to me, because I asked about Cape Canaveral, and he said there's a two-lane road, or there used to be a two-lane road that went from there all the way up to New York. And there were many roadside motels along the way for the tourists. And now all the motels are abandoned, but they're still there because there are tunnels underneath that
Dang.
connect to all of these.
Tunnels
Um,
underneath the motels?
yes, and
Jeez.
there were entrances. So in other words, like if you were working secretly for the government in those days, but you couldn't be seen going into Cape Canaveral, you would go into these motels. There was a tunnel entrance under there, and then you could go. Nobody knew where you went.
Wow.
And
Motels with ooh, is that just in this street or is that everywhere?
that's along that coast around that highway that goes along Cape Canaveral. Um, but apparently it's in a very wide area.
So are these
And
people that work for like NASA and stuff like that?
yeah, NASA and also um, the NRO, the National Reconnaissance Agency or Office, is based in Cape Canaveral. And people may know the NRO they monitor everything in space, all the satellites, everything moving in space. They also are connected to military intelligence. And so they're very, very secretive. They know even more than the president would know, unless he needs to. But one thing about China that I want to get into, and this is I thought very interesting. Um, it told me that try to find uh, that the Chinese restaurants that appear all over the place. Um, just find that.
All over America?
Yeah, actually all over everywhere.
Laundering or
Um,
what?
Yeah, oh, here it is. He said that Chinese restaurants all over the US were actually spy stations that were funded by the Chinese government. And then the information obtained by the restaurants were fed back to China. And that the US didn't stop it because the US intelligence protocols don't want to stop the information. They want to see where it goes.
Okay.
And
Oh, I
so
got you.
yeah, and then recently I have, contacts in a lot of places, and one of my Mexican contacts stated that he went to visit some family in a very rural part of Mexico, and in the town suddenly were two Chinese restaurants with Chinese all over the place, and he says it's never heard of such a thing before. They're suddenly appearing all over Mexico. And the reason would be because they were funneling fentanyl and other drugs to the cartel,
Makes sense.
and and now they're trying to get rid of the cartel, so the Chinese are trying to find out what the operations are about.
Oh, so they want to take over the cartels in Mexico.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, cut out the middleman, basically.
they're funding them. They're funding them really,
Yeah. So what do
and
they
so
need them for? That makes a lot of sense to me. A
so they're trying.
lot of sense to me.
Yeah, yeah. And by the way, there are operations going on inside of Mexico by American troops, and by intelligence agencies, even though it's not reported on the news. And they are going to get rid of the cartels in Mexico, Venezuela, Colombia, and Nicaragua.
But China
So
is not going to take control of that. I mean, man. So America
China,
is going to come in, try to clean them out. China is going to try to move in.
yes, that's correct, but they're not going to. It won't be success. They won't be successful. In fact, the Chinese have tried to open military bases in South America, and that's been squashed as well. In fact, the government of Ecuador voted to not allow any foreign military bases on their territory. However, they do have an agreement, but Marco Rubio made back in September when I was in Ecuador, that they will allow American military to remove the cartel and the drug trade within Ecuador that goes from basically Bolivia all the way up to Venezuela and Mexico.
Okay.
So
Wow.
that's going on as well. Um, we also have to talk about a little bit about Russia, because what people don't understand is that Russia is going to run out of money in December, especially American dollars, which they need. So the Russians are trying to get as much money as they can, and they don't care how they get it. In fact, they have uh, agents in London going after the Russian oligarchs and expats in London and in other places, uh, basically shaking them down for the money. And people don't realize in the 1990s, after the fall of the Soviet Union, the wealthy oligarchs from Russia immediately started transferring their money out of Russia to European Union, Britain, Middle East, Hong Kong, um, and Putin had to approve of it. But he approved of it saying, you give me a percent of what you're taking out and you give it to me and I won't say anything. Now he's finding out they took a lot more than they told him, and he feels they owe him a lot more. And so he's going after them, especially now that he's running out of money.
Jeez. Yeah, because he has
See?
to sustain the war.
Well, here's the thing. Remember I told you that by January 15th, the war's going to be over in Ukraine.
Yeah.
That was another date I gave you.
Yeah.
And then recently, well, 2 days ago, Trump said to Zelensky, you have until Thanksgiving to accept this 28-point peace plan.
But
And
that's
of
going to be the
course,
end of Zelensky, and Zelensky knows it. That's his death sentence.
yes, absolutely. But here's the thing. He's probably not going to accept it because it means giving up land. And look, I think I mentioned to you, he's getting paid $100 million a month to act as the president of Ukraine,
That's insane.
even though he's not even there. He doesn't even live there. I don't even know the last time he was in Ukraine, you see? And so I have a message, not, I get Russian news. And so I translated um, this because it's not an American news. Um, so I'm translating this and I'm going to read the statement from Russian news, if I may.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Trump administration is secretly working with Moscow on a new 28-point plan to end the war in Ukraine. It's modeled after Trump's Gaza negotiations, and the proposal covers four areas: peace terms in Ukraine, security guarantees, broader European security, and future U.S. relations with Russia and Ukraine, because the Russians desperately want normalization with the United States. Russian envoy Kirill Dmitriev said he spent 3 days in late October in Miami with Trump's envoy, Steve Witkoff, developing the plan, and is optimistic because the Russian position is truly being heard. The U.S. has begun informing European allies about the plan and believes there's a real chance that they and Ukraine may support this initiative. The arrival of U.S. Army Commander Driscoll in Ukraine is allegedly related to this plan. Keep an eye on Lavrov so he doesn't break again. The Russians are not happy with Lavrov, and he may resign. So he doesn't break again. What the excellent negotiator Dmitriev has put together, he and the Russian president's aide Ushakov are truly working wonders. So the Russians are working behind the scenes with the United States to get this plan and impose it on Ukraine. Most likely, Ukraine, well, Zelensky and whoever is supporting him, which is NATO and the EU, they're not going to accept it because it gives land back to Russia, and
And
because
that and that in essence is losing the war. That's like a
and
surrender.
it limits the size of the Ukrainian army, and it prevents Ukraine from joining NATO ever. They're not ever
Yeah.
allowed
Ooh. That
to
they're not
join.
going to accept that.
Well, and so what you're seeing between now and January 15th is a Russian blitzkrieg across Ukraine to get as much territory as possible so that when it ends, they have Ukraine.
So they're
This
already
is
there. Wow.
yes,
Yeah, that makes
yes.
sense, doesn't it?
But no matter what, by the 15th of January, we're finished. It's finished.
Okay.
That's
All
the
right. So
end.
that's a oof. All right.
So that's another date you could put down that I gave you.
All right. Yeah, put that
Uh,
down.
and when they give me these dates, and I know I have to say these things to you, and I say, "Are you sure about that?" Absolutely, they said to me, "Absolutely." Okay,
Okay.
so
All right.
yeah,
All right, folks.
that's I'm not going to argue with them because I get in trouble if I do. Um, Now, one other thing here, uh, yeah, he said with certainty by January 15th the war is going to end. That's a direct quote.
Okay.
Um, he also said to me that everything that was put in place, it will come out. It started in October. Remember, I told you about Rocktober, and I called it Red Rocktober, and people say, "Well, what else is going on?" There's a lot that happened that was never reported because it's
Okay.
secret. But he said it'll come out that it all started in October,
Okay.
and
Like
that'll
what?
go down in
Just okay.
history.
Okay.
Okay, so he also said, now this is about our politics. The next 12 months, there will be a blitzkrieg of policy through the House and the Senate never before seen, because the House and the Senate may go to the Democrats in the midterm elections if Trump's initiatives aren't done. So he knows by November 26th, he has to get everything he wants done.
Trump has to get everything he wants done. So he
Yes,
has 12 months to do it.
correct. So that's why they told me November 26th is going to look very different than November of 25.
So
And
12 months to get everything done.
yes,
Blitzkrieg.
in the Senate and the House. And you're seeing a lot, look, you had Marjorie Taylor Greene resign. I mean, she wasn't very smart what she did.
Well, I think
Uh,
she thinks that the Democrats are going to win 2026 and they're going to impeach Trump, and she wants to stay away from it as far as possible and then try to run in 2028.
well, yeah, but she was trying to win on both sides. She wanted the Republicans and the Democrats to like her.
Right,
And
right.
but she's out. She's finished.
She's done this. This was her self-deleting, basically.
Mhm.
Her own
She
assassination.
was she wasn't,
No, I don't think so either.
she wasn't right. So anyway, and then he said,
Oh boy, gotta
yeah,
love Nino's Corner, folks.
yeah. Well, Nino's Corner is going to grow. It's going to be a whole room soon.
Oh, I can't wait.
It's going
Yeah,
to be a
that'd be great.
cafe. So anyway, then he goes on to Iran, and he says to me, the world's largest global reserves, and that's gold, basically, were in Iran just before the Shah was overthrown. That was in 1979. The gold was moved to Dubai, which is why they grew exponentially after Iran government was overthrown. That's when Iran took off. I mean, Dubai took off. So, and now there's a competition between Dubai and Abu Dhabi. They're all under UAE, United Arab Emirates, but they're different emirates. And so Abu Dhabi wants to be the number gold center in the world, but so does Dubai.
Wow.
Right now it's London, but they told me 2026, the end of London, as far as that's concerned, it's going to go to UAE between Dubai and Abu Dhabi. But there's a third one. I think I might have mentioned Oman. The Sultan of Oman said, "Oh no, I'm going to get all the gold, and it's
Oh
going to
my
be in Oman."
gosh,
So
this
you're
is
going to see like
wild.
this rivalry in the
That's
Gulf
why Trump is
Persian.
dealing so heavily with them, huh?
Oh yes. Oh, Yes, and the Saudi prince came, Salman. He came, and I mentioned I think in the last show that Saudi Arabia knows that in the future hydrogen power will be over oil. There won't be oil or gas anymore needed. So they know they want an income. They need to do something else. So they're putting $1 trillion into AI quantum
Okay.
and into a data center, which they wanted based in Riyadh. Uh, but I'm going to give you something else a little bit later about that too. And so they also brought a message from Iran through the Saudi prince. Iran is crumbling to dust. I mentioned to you last time that there's no more water in Iran, and that by next month they're going to have to evacuate 10 million people from Tehran. Can you imagine evacuate 10
That's
million people?
insane.
Where you can put them?
That's
There's no
insane.
water. Yeah, and then all the rivers and lakes are now at rock bottom. They found 79 bodies of dissidents that the Iranian government dumped in the water, and they
Wow.
found their body. But the worst of it all, that's the water they were using for
The
drinking.
drinking water with decomposed bodies in them.
Yeah,
Oh,
yes,
God.
yes, yeah.
That's not hard
S-
to believe. I remember when
So,
Lake Mead was drying up, all those bodies they were finding there,
yeah, but they were in
gangsters,
barrels.
right?
They were in
Yeah,
barrels.
they were in barrels. At least they did that. Oh,
But
jeez.
these were like bodies that they found.
Fish food. Ugh.
Yeah, pretty horrible.
That's horrible.
Um,
That's nasty.
yeah,
Damn.
yes,
I
yes.
bet you a lot of people were getting sick.
Well, and now the Iranian guard that was so for the Ayatollah, now they're protesting against him. They want to bring back the grandson of the Shah, and they want to reestablish diplomatic relations with Israel because if they do, immediately the Israelis could come in, desalinate the water from the Indian Ocean and the Persian Gulf, and they'll have as much water as they need
Got you.
immediately.
Wow, of
So,
course.
so you're going to see a lot of changes politically that you would never have imagined a few weeks ago.
So massive seismic shifts.
Yes, yes. And Syria is going to join the Abraham Accords. Lebanon will also join the Abraham Accords. They're not sure about Iraq right now, but with the collapse of Syria and Iran, Iraq won't have a choice. They'll have to join all the countries that join the Abraham Accords will get AI quantum technology and most importantly, the Golden Dome protection because they know what China is going to do.
So everyone's worried about China.
Yes,
The
including
whole
the
world.
Russians,
Wow.
including the Russians. Yes,
Wow.
absolutely.
So they're
They're
they're on a war path for sure.
yeah, absolutely. And they're not being quiet about it either. Now, we also need to watch, as I told you one time before, about Venezuela, Colombia. I mentioned to you about the Panamanian troops being trained. I mean, the American troops being trained in Panama, I mentioned
Yes.
last time. So very soon, there may be American troops in Venezuela. But, Maduro called up all his troops. So the troops said, if Americans come, we're not fighting them. It's,
There's no way to
bye.
win.
Yeah, it's like no way. We quit. And that's why I told you, I think also that Brazil is putting troops on the Venezuelan border, not to help them, but to block the troops from entering Brazil to run
From
away.
fleeing.
Yes, they're blocking the border so that the Venezuelans can't flee into Brazil.
Jeez.
So that's happening
That
now.
makes that makes all of this makes complete sense to me. None of this sounds outlandish at all.
Yeah. And then again, second time he says to me, next November 26th will look dramatically different from November 25. That's keep saying that over and over
Like
again.
because of the world or America or
All the above. All the
because
above.
of these 12 volatile months.
And
You
there's
said that
more.
word volatile, right?
Yes, and they call it also a convergence. That word comes up a lot. The word convergence of uh, man-made and natural issues. Natural issues meaning geological upheavals and man-made, war, politics, economics, that kind of thing.
Wow.
So, and I mentioned to you last time about the Russian news. And again, I get it and I translate every day because I report it to them. That the Russians say that the United Kingdom and NATO will sabotage European infrastructure and blame Russia. I mentioned that last time
Oh, so that we could
on
stay
your
in the
show.
war.
Yeah, so that they have an excuse to tax more money and of the European people and use that against Russia. Um, Now, I have an update for you on 3I Atlas.
Okay.
I mentioned last time, just to review, that it's speeding up. It's releasing ions that are obviously from a propulsion system. It's changed color, it's changed size. And here's the thing. It was emitting radio signals. If you remember, I said that. So recently I found out that Elon Musk's Starlink, and he has a special section of Starlink that's just for the US government, that's secret. And there's approximately, I believe, 200 satellites that he has just dedicated to US government.
Just for the government. That sounds completely realistic to me.
But those satellites, Nino, are transmitting disruption signals to the Earth, blocking radio signals from coming in, meaning they don't want anyone on Earth to pick up the radio signals coming in from this object. Elon is disrupting the signals so that only the government can get the actual signals. You understand? The problem,
Signals from 3i Atlas
correct,
disrupting
correct.
the signals. So only the government, so he doesn't want the people knowing what they're
Like
trying to.
amateur radios people
They're
and
not going
all,
to pick it up. Only the government will pick it up.
right. They'll get scattered,
That's
signals.
horrible.
Well, if they got the real signals, talk about shock. It would not be a good thing that they release the information.
Well,
But
yeah,
I'm gonna,
but he's hiding information from the citizens, man. He's not working for.
yes, right, he is. But look, you know what's out there. You know how people think, how they react, how they attack everything.
Yeah.
And so if they heard this, who knows? There would be riots. There would be, bedlam. So even though it sounds manipulative,
Do
and
we
it
know what
is,
they're saying to them? What?
well, I remember I said there's warnings. There are warnings. Um, Now remember I told you, he told me that March 26th, everything will look different this March. Remember I told you that.
Yeah. Yes.
So
Well, you
then I
said
found,
March and November, right? So,
yeah,
okay.
both months. Uh, the latest from the 3i Atlas, there are 7 light jets or that look like emitting jets of light coming from this object, but not pushing behind it, pushing in front. And it appears that these light energy is destroying micrometeors in its path so that it stays clear.
So believable, man. I just worry. You can't make this shit up. You know
No,
what I mean? What you're saying to me right now, I couldn't pull that out of my ass.
I would I wouldn't know even think about it.
I don't even know. That sounds so believable, man. Like, yeah,
But here's the
yeah,
most
because there's
interesting.
tons of space junk and meteors and stuff. I've always wondered that. And that's why I don't believe we went to the moon because we would hit all kinds of incoming garbage and rocks and
Well,
stuff.
let me tell
It's
you
just
what
one of the
else.
problems.
Now, I told you December 19th, it's going to be closest to the Earth. I told you that.
Yes.
But March of 26, it will be exactly by Jupiter at the exact time that the gravitational pull of Jupiter exceeds the gravitational pull of the sun, so that this object could emit probes or other objects without the sun affecting it. And I believe that is the major part of why he said March 26th, nothing's going to be the same.
So then they come onto Earth, maybe.
Only they know that. I don't know. They didn't tell me these beings on that object.
Wow. Oh, wow. Okay. So I thought it was going to use it like a boomerang effect and then take off like a slingshot or something. But you're saying that's when it's going to release orbs. How do they know
Something.
that though?
That's what they said. They said that's
Okay.
the most
I mean, are
perfect
they telling
time.
them?
That could be part of the radio signals that they're
Okay.
getting. But something else may happen around the 19th of December. It'll be right here. In fact, if anyone has a powerful telescope, they could probably see it now in a distance. I saw a close-up of a NASA uh, shot of it, and it kind of looks like a kind of a globe with a long oblong behind it, like a how should I say, a cockpit in the front and something in the
Right,
back,
right.
but it's size of Manhattan. It's gigantic.
How big are these beings that are on this ship? Are they our size, bigger than us? Nobody.
There are many, as I mentioned, it comes from the Kuiper Belt. There are many, many civilizations there. Uh, and I told you, some hate us, some want to annihilate, some want to control or to quarantine. Right now, we are in a quarantine by the Kuiper Belt objects. Um, my feeling is it's the insectoid races that despise mammalian races and want to annihilate. The reptilians are already on the earth. And I don't know if I mentioned to you that the Kuiper Belt conglomeration, whatever you want to call it, they have representation on the earth by way of the Fourth Reich in Antarctica. The Fourth Reich is in league with the Kuiper Belt because they want to incorporate this planet into that
Right.
system and they be designated as the leaders on the earth.
This is so wild.
I know it sounds like Star
No, it
Trek.
doesn't, but I'm just thinking, how could we defeat the what do they call it? The insectoids?
They call them insecta, and there's more than one kind. They're kind that look
Let's
like
just get
ants.
a huge gun that sprays Raid. Let's zap them with Raid when they come in, and we'll just kill them all.
Okay, okay, no more red wine for you in the
I'm
morning.
just saying,
That's
I
what
don't,
that's
well, I'm just Raid, and then we can spray ourselves with off, and
uh,
we have
okay.
defense and offense.
Okay, you need step away from the desk with your hands up. Okay, it's not quite that. But here's the thing: if they wanted to destroy the Earth, they could have done it already.
I
Okay,
mean, yeah,
they
I
have
know. Well, it's very valuable to them, correct?
yes, this location, location,
Right.
location. So, but I have more for you about that. Um,
I'm on to something. Raid, I'm telling you.
yeah, well, make sure you tell the government.
I got your answer.
And you know what they'll say to you when you say that to them? They'll say, like you all say in Texas, El Paso. Okay, so so
Oh man.
that's their
I
answer to
know.
you is El
Well, you
Paso.
never know.
Yeah. So so as I mentioned before, the Saudis came here to give a $1 trillion investment in the United States, mostly for technology and quantum. They will create a standards board for quantum that will be based in Riyadh, but the research and development will be in the United States, and my contact will be on that board.
Wow.
In
Okay. Well,
fact,
that's a big contact there.
he was just named Friday to that. It will be released, he said, in 2 to 3 weeks. It'll
Wow.
be in the news.
You got some serious contacts.
Yeah, I do. Um, and so here's the next thing people should know. Huntsville, Alabama.
Space station capital now, right? Or something like that.
It will be the center of technology, of quantum computing for many purposes. Florida will be a satellite office based in West Palm Beach, and there will also be one here in Michigan. And I'm working with people here in Michigan right now to create a space agency here.
Okay. Wow. All right. Okay.
And there's a lot more about that I cannot say at the moment. After World War II, Wernher von Braun went to Huntsville, and so it was a good place to hide the Germans, the Nazis that were brought in Paperclip, Project Paperclip. They
Really?
were brought,
Huntsville, huh?
yeah.
Wow.
And he
That's
said
also like
it's
one of the biggest prison systems there, right?
well, he said it's full of intelligence. There's a big
Wow.
intelligence center there, and
What?
many Germans are there, uh, who were brought before they came before the Nuremberg trials, so they would not be taken into those prisons there. So he also went on to me say there's a lot of discussion about where the quantum data center should be built because no one really has one yet. And so I said, why would you build it in Alabama? There's tornadoes, they could have hurricanes. I was like, why would you do that? The answer said, he said, it will be built behind the fence. When they say behind the fence, it means a military base.
Okay.
And he said it means military protection and that it will be protected from all weather so that they have a way to block tornadoes, hurricanes,
So
all
I
that.
guess they're taking away, I mean, so that's going to be the biggest bases now, right? In Huntsville, that's where all the technology centers are going to be. So I guess it's no longer going to be here, New Mexico, White Sands area.
Yeah. Yeah, because a lot of stuff's happening on the West Coast that I told you about.
Right.
So,
Okay.
they don't consider it a very good place to develop.
Ooh. For the
Um,
coming, what's coming?
yes.
Okay.
Um, he said the quantum data center will have the ability to connect to other systems and give a massive upgrade to the World Wide Web. And the state that gets this multi-billion dollar investment from the government will be very elevated, high up. Okay. So basically, like Alabama could become like the new, California and so on.
Because I guess they're expecting such a disaster on the West Coast
Yes. It's in
that it's just,
process.
ooh,
It's in process already. Yeah.
getting
Um,
ahead of the ball, huh?
yes.
Do
He
you
said,
think a lot of California will be underwater?
well, interesting. Did you listen to my last podcast I sent
No, I
you?
didn't, but I didn't listen to the last one. I can't listen to them all, but I mean, you know what I mean?
In there, I said that they've now announced that Los Angeles is sinking.
Oh my gosh.
They actually said it. So they're blaming it on groundwater extraction, but they don't extract groundwater from Los Angeles. It comes from up north. LA doesn't get its water from underground. So that was a cover story. Okay. And actually, same thing is going on in San Francisco and Seattle and Portland, all the
So soon these
some,
will all be places of the past, man.
and he said nobody's going to help them. There's no funding to help them.
Damn.
Everybody's going to be on their own if they
Basic,
survive.
right. And Gavin Newsom probably is going to have to own that, right?
He's in big trouble. He's in big trouble. I'll just tell you that.
Okay.
And so is Scamala, I like to
Oh
call her.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that as well. So, mm.
So he went on to say that money will be made in Alabama. There's a big presence there for international quantum collaboration that will be built along with the partners that have signed the Abraham Accords. So that's the incentive for all of these Islamic countries to sign the agreements with Israel because Israel has the technology to do all of these things. You understand? And there's something else I'm going to tell you about that in a moment. Um, he said to me, now listen to this part is interesting. that he needs to attract people who are intellectually able to access the next wave of the fourth and fifth dimensional presence.
Hold on. He needs people. Who needs people?
The the director who talks to me and is involved in the quantum AI
They
system
need people that can access what?
to access and accept fourth and fifth dimensional presence.
Well, fourth and fifth. Fifth is spiritual, isn't it? That would be the
Let's just
spiritual
say
realm,
non-physical.
non-physical. But fourth is what? Interfaced with the third and fifth. It's like the middle.
You could call it like astral.
Right.
But here's what I'm trying to tell you, what he was trying to tell me. Quantum goes beyond physical. It goes into all the other alternate universes to get, that's how it gets the answers.
Right.
Because
Jeez.
in the mind of God, God has created infinite universes so that every possibility is explored. So when quantum goes through its process of finding a solution, it accesses these multidimensional
So
areas.
I've heard that Trump already has access to that. That's why he's beating the deep state. Is there any truth to that?
Yes, but there's more to it than that. Did you ever read the Old Testament?
I'm not much of it. I know certain stories in there, but to my fault, I haven't written. I've never read the whole Bible. I've read bits and pieces of it. Like
Okay,
most people have.
before our next show, I want you to read the whole Bible, okay?
Good luck on that one.
And memorize it. So, okay.
To my fault. I mean, yeah, I
Well, it's I grew up, I had to read everything, the whole Bible, First Testament, New to everything. And so it was a surprise to me in the United States that nobody knew the Bible. They're like, what
I mean,
story?
I definitely am reading more of it. But yeah, I mean, just recently I've started reading more of it, but mainly the New Testament.
So I'm going to tell you the Old Testament is what's happening now.
Okay.
And I'm going to read in the Old Testament the story of King Ahab, Jezebel, and King Jehu. That
Yehu.
story,
Okay.
that story, those people are reincarnated now
Oh, that's what you said
for,
the last broadcast,
yeah.
right?
And Donald Trump is King Jehu,
Yehu. All
who
right.
he destroyed the idols. He
And
destroyed
Obama is
he was King Ahab,
Ahab. Ahab.
was Jezebel.
Wow. So that's playing out again on the world stage. Isn't that
Yes, yes. It's like
that's
the final battle of these
so
beings.
their souls reincarnated. Oh wow. That
Yes.
hey, I believe that. It's very believable.
Yeah. And King Jehu, um, it says, had 28 years in service in his kingdom. People don't know. Donald Trump didn't start the presidency or his campaign in 2016. In 2000, he started a campaign on an independent party to become president.
Well, I've always
And
heard he was invited to run and all those, you hear
in
this.
2016, the military intelligence, that was the Q thing,
Yeah.
they told him to do it. But he knew before that who he was. So when his term ends in 2028, that's the same 28 years.
Wow.
Everything
Wow.
is replaying. It's replaying. Even the number of years in office exactly matches Jezebel.
Insane.
Yeah.
Insanity.
I mean, you can't make this up.
No, you can't.
And that's what he knows. President Trump knows by studying the biblical history and who he was. He knows what he has to do. And that's why, Nino, all these protests against him by George Soros and all these that they pay these protesters, what do they have? No kings, no kings. You see?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they know he was a king.
So wild.
It's replaying. It's
So crazy.
replaying. So it's like the next level of the
Right.
biblical history
Right.
of what's going on. But the main thing is, he's telling me, and I'm telling you and your audience, that they absolutely recognize the fourth and fifth dimensional presence. Now, remember, when they talk about alien beings and being fourth and fifth dimensional, that there are those who are non-physical like that, yes. But they're also talking about the physical beings that have technology that can go fourth and fifth dimension. So it's all of that combined, you
Okay.
see?
Mm. Okay.
So he also told me that none of this technology would have happened unless the Germans were brought here after World War II.
Project Paperclip.
Yes, they had this technology, as I may have mentioned, from the Aldebaran star system. Um,
And this also links to Antarctica, correct?
yes, I mentioned 1938. The Germans announced the paradise for the Führer, which was in Antarctica. They called Neuschwabenland. Schwabenland is a state of Germany, and they called it Neuschwabenland or Nordschwabenland, which they stole from Norway, had that territory. And in one night, Germany invaded Norway overnight. They just arrived in the airport. Norway had no army. They took over Norway in one
Wow.
day,
Wow.
and so doing took over the Schwabenland.
Jeez.
Understand?
Yeah.
The Germans are very brilliant in their planning. And he said to me that it could not have come from Earth without interdimensional beings and help. This has come from the government.
Okay.
He said there's a lot of information that NASA is not releasing because it's considered to be a quote, unexplained intelligence, which means anomaly. So when they have a news meet story, especially like about this so-called comet, and they said there's an anomaly, that's a code word for unexplained intelligence. That's the
Okay.
code.
So it's like a
So
buzzword and code word for them
yeah,
to, got you.
yeah, yeah. And so then he went on to talk about Starlink transmitting these radio waves to interrupt the three eye atlas transmissions. And he said that the parabola dishes on the Earth, you know, those dishes like they're in Puerto Rico, and he said that they can connect to this incoming radio signal, and it can line up to integrate space, air, land, and sea on a quantum platform because it's too there's too much data to simultaneously go through normal algorithms. So they have a way of interpreting all of this. Okay.
Yeah,
And then,
I'm trying to absorb all this, digest this.
okay. Do you want me to stop?
No, no, I'm just like, this is a lot of information.
Well, I have more,
Okay.
if that's okay.
Yeah,
To
absolutely.
to so he reminded me of Ronald Reagan's speech to the United Nations in September 1987, and and in front of the United Nations, uh, Ronald Reagan said um, that in our obsession with antagonisms of the moment, we often forget how much unites all the members of humanity. Perhaps we need some outside, universal threat to make us recognize this common bond, and how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. That was from Ronald Reagan.
Right. I remember that.
And so my contact told me, I said, is this what will change by March 26th? He says, he uses the term bingo. He says, bingo.
So
He
that's going to
said,
be the thing. That's going to be
yes,
what?
yes, yes. And that's what Trump is calling all these people to the White House. He's saying, this is what's going to happen. Do you want to die or do you want to live? So that's why they're doing this.
So do you think this is the big like alien card that they're going to play to distract everybody from the rest? And what should be on
Well,
the
there's two things going on, Nino. On one hand, We have the alien threat, which has always been, but now it's in front of your
So
face.
this is going to be 2020 2.0 on steroids, way bigger than even all that crap was. This is going to be
He's
even bigger.
he said this, you have not ever experienced this before in your
This will
life.
change humanity. This is it.
Yes.
So it
That's
starts in March and then in November.
well, it's already started, really.
Right, it has. You're
Uh,
right. It's already
but
beginning.
but
But I
March,
feel like this is. You're saying there really are beings on there. So man, so
yes, yes. But here's the thing, there's two things. One is the alien threat. The second is the implementation of biblical prophecy that Trump is extremely adamant about because, and the quote here um, is that, oh, well, let me just finish this. He said, quantum is already giving information that they can't figure out, and it will open doors to an intelligence beyond what we can understand. And now he says, Trump is going to make a reference to the US being a Christian state and a religious state so people could understand quantum. And that involves the Bible code
mm,
that I told you about
yeah,
last time.
right, right,
And now
right.
and after I told you this, then he tells me about this. But there's more, and again, people have to understand. He said there is a lot going on behind the scenes that the Saudis and others in the region are not going against Israel ever again. The Saudis will sign the Abraham Accord and they will do what it takes to work together in order to get this quantum. This also involves, the creation of greater Israel, according to the Bible, where God told the Hebrews he's giving them for eternity all the land between the Nile River and the Euphrates River. That includes a lot of countries right now that are Muslim.
Oh yeah, that's going to be
And according to what I'm told, they're agreeing to this
interesting.
because if not, they're not going to be around very long.
Right, makes sense.
So we're seeing that happen. Um, and he said quantum will transform the US. And this is something else he said to mention that expect to hear the word transform, not reform, but transform defense, industry, manufacturing, economy, all transformation, transformation. He said in the next 2 to 5 years, there will come all of these will become under quantum platform, and it will give political and economic and social advantages over everyone else on Earth, so that the United States will be the number one super state on the planet.
But there will be three super states, but no, so the U.S. still will be number one.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. That's what China is trying to not to
Beat us.
stop.
Oh, right. Stop that.
Yeah,
Right.
that's why they're a big threat. They know what I'm telling you. They know it.
Right. Damn.
Okay. Yeah. So,
The
so
war games, man. This is so unbelievable. Yeah.
yeah.
Makes so much
So
sense to me.
he said, and now listen to this. Now this he told me, I dated this. This was the 19th. So the 19th was what day? What last Wednesday, I think. So he last Wednesday, he told me the next 2 weeks will turn everything upside down. That's what he told me.
In what respect? The next 2 weeks starting now?
Starting the
Starting now.
19th, starting from November 19th.
What's today? The 23rd.
So we're talking about
So,
the first
like,
first week of December.
how politically or
He said economically, socially, all of that.
okay.
He said there's a worldwide rush to take any investments that are not liquid and make them liquid because they know what's coming.
Jeez.
And Trump holds the leverage that nothing can happen without approval from Trump and the U.S. Treasury.
Wow. So
Nothing.
the Federal Reserve is going to go.
No more federal. Federal Reserve is about dollars.
Right, right.
When
It's
there's no more
monopoly.
dollars,
Yeah,
there's no more
this.
Federal Reserve.
Jeez. So
They'll
that
all go to
this.
the Treasury.
Okay. Right. Which will be
Digital,
gold.
digital currency backed by gold.
Okay. Digital currency backed by gold.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So,
Is, is there still
I
a lot
mean,
more on here?
well, I think I better stop there.
Okay. Can we do part two on 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏?
Sure.
I don't know. I mean, hey, yo. Um, Stewart Swerdlow, this has been an amazing episode. Geez. I don't even know what to title this, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm going to think of a title, but I'll see what I can do here. This has been exceptional. 12 volatile months. So there's really the 12 volatile months ahead. Earth changes, political upheaval, seismic shifts of power. I mean, all the above, right? I mean, alien contact. I mean, craziness. The next
Everything.
12 months, really. I mean, this is going to be it. This is going to change the world for humanity forever the next 12 months.
Yes, but
Jeez.
key month is March,
March and November, really.
and actually January
March
because the
through
end of
November, I would
yeah,
imagine.
and the
Yeah.
end of the war in Ukraine, January.
Gosh, okay. All right, stay with me just a sec, Stuart. Where do people find you? Expansions.com?
Yeah, expansions.com. And we now, and I just sent you this morning a video for the Ecuador medical tourism.
Okay.
They basically saved my life. I mean, I was in bad shape. I didn't know it until I was there. And
Okay.
in the last 2 months, I lost 40 pounds.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, I have, everything's much better. And there's a whole video that you have. It's posted on my site as well.
Okay.
You could feel free to post it anywhere you like.
Okay. Absolutely. Stuart, stay with me just for a second, folks. Expansions.com. Get over there. Check it out. Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you.